Hello, friends, and thank you for joining me again with our weekly podcast. You're joining me here in my office in Fanwood, New Jersey, and today we're going to be talking about what's all the fuss about singing bowls. How many of you have heard of singing bowls? You might have heard of crystal bowls, Tibetan bowls. Some are metal, some are crystal. But really the bigger question is not what's the fuss about singing bowls, but what's the fuss about the instruments in general. There's so many instruments that we're going to talk about next week. But what it's all about is vibrational healing. Many centers offer this as a service, as a meditation. I do both up here in Fanwood, both as a one-on-one private session where we can break up old energetic patterns, but also as part of a bigger group session where it's part of a meditation. So starting first with the word vibrational healing. Healing is pretty standard. I'm sure you've heard the word before, but vibrational is really about the vibrations of not only the instrument and the sound that is coming out of the instrument, but about yourself. Everything vibrates at what's called a sympathetic vibration, where if you probably have watched old cartoons or old movies, you've seen the gag about the opera singer who sings so high that she shatters the glass. That's because her voice is singing at a frequency or a vibration that is sympathetic with that of the glass. So the glass starts vibrating because of her vibration, and lo and behold, it vibrates so much that it shatters. Is it possible? Yes, it actually is possible. We've heard the old biblical story of the walls of Jericho, and some historians and theologians believe that because of the vibrations of the marching around the walls and because the vibrations of the horns, that is what caused the walls to fall. Now, we don't really know, and there's no particular proof of how exactly it happened, but vibrations do have a very powerful impact on physical and spiritual aspects of ourselves. There are two water experiments that we're really going to be talking about today. One of them is the experiments of Dr.Emoto. And Dr.Emoto, he took water and exposed them to different types of sounds, different types of music. And the softer, more soothing music would form these beautiful crystals. And they were very symmetrical. They were very pretty to look at. While music that was harder, angrier, more rough or jagged, if you will, created a sympathetic or like-formed crystal. And we kind of have to look at that and wonder, we're mostly made of water as humans. So when you're listening to instruments, to music, they really can profoundly affect you on a molecular level. They're affecting how the water within your body, which is essentially part of you, it affects how it forms. And when you're listening to music, somebody responded to one of my comments somewhere, probably on Facebook. Well, what does that mean about, me? Because I listen to, heavy metal music. Well, no, that's not a problem. There's lots of spiritual people who love heavy metal music. And I think that's great because, frankly, we do have anger within us that sometimes this music can help ease and let go, and it can help us process it. But on the other side, you need to balance it with music that will soothe and help create that beautiful vibrational wavelength within your system again. And it's about balance. So finding either an instrument or instruments or even genre of music that speaks softly to your soul, and more than your soul, to your actual physical body. We wonder why our health is in discord or our emotions are constantly in discord. Well, some of it can be from the words we tell ourselves. there's a lot of experiments if you go on YouTube about using positive versus negative words and how it'll affect, one father was trying to teach his son about good words and bad words and the effect that they can have. And so he did a rice experiment, and there's lots of rice experiments on YouTube, so I highly recommend checking it out. And in fact, I'll try to find one and include a link in the discussion. In fact, all of the things that we're, description, all the things that we're going over today, I will include in the description. I'll include links for you. So just cut and paste if you can't click on it, because it'll lead you to the videos that I am talking about today. So in this experiment, he used kind words, and he used negative words, and he even put them on placemats, kept them in the same space, and the one with negative words grew mold very quickly, while the one without it grew very little mold, and what did grow happened very slower and at a much slower rate than the ones that use negative words. So again, going back to Dr. Emoto's experiments, when you are giving yourself a steady diet of negative messages through music or self-talk, what are you doing to your molecular makeup in your body? Not just what are you programming in your head, but what are you actually physically telling your body to remember? Now, this brings us to the second experiment, which is does water have memory? And I'd watched this on YouTube. There's I think a full-length video, and it was very fascinating because it talked about how they would, it was a group of scientists, and they took water from the same source, and they took water droplets, let them evaporate, and then look at them under a microscope. Then they took that same water, dipped a cell phone in it, took it out, did the same thing, totally changed the way the drops dried and the formations that were in the evaporated water drop under the microscope. They did this over and over again with flowers, and if you do a particular flower, then everything in that, every water drop that came from that batch of the same flower, even if it was a different flower but same type of flower, would dry with a similar pattern. So we have to look at things like the electronics that we carry, and what we actually surround ourselves with, because it can change our molecular makeup and our water memories, if you will. Oftentimes when we exercise or do yoga, I know there's a particular yoga move every time I do, I end up crying. And it's kind of silly, but I do, and I'm releasing something. So clearly there is something in the cell, whether I'm burning up a cell that's releasing or it's in the connective tissues. There's some memory that my muscles are storing that's causing me to cry because it's not out of pain. In fact, it's a very nice exercise. I enjoy it very much. That particular stretch, I think it's the cobra. And but every time it brings a tear to my eye, and I don't know what it is, but I'm always a little sad. And so we remember things on a cellular level, not just between the synapses in our brain. It, I think, goes much deeper than we are even aware. So when we do vibrational therapy, which brings us kind of back to the point, the purpose of any vibrational healing or therapy or meditation is to help change those energy patterns, help clear them out, help kind of reprogram us and kind of reset us or create new positive memories for those cells or water cells to retain. And so when you go to a meditation, when you go to energy therapist, you can expect any number of instruments. But again, we're going back to the bowls. The crystal bowls are the first one I was exposed to, and I loved them from the first sound, and I still go to bowl sessions, and I have my own bowl meditations up here, but it's the one healing thing that I do for myself when I go to somebody else's center. I really enjoy. I definitely like, and shout out to my favorite bowl place down in the Jersey Shore, Soulful Awakenings. Donna does a beautiful bowl meditation, so if you're ever down there, I highly recommend it. And it's one of the things that I do for myself, is sit and just relax and allow myself to be cleansed. I also, up at my center, do bowls, and I do metal bowls as well, which are the Tibetan ones. For me, the metal bowls connect with the earth energy, and the crystal bowls connect with the divine energy. And so for me, it's about grounding. Every practitioner is different, so no matter how many you go to, you're going to have a different experience. And sometimes I'll bring in chimes and we'll chant to the chimes, and sometimes I'll bring in drums. But the bowls for me, I just absolutely adore. But each instrument has a different purpose, and the bowls, the crystal bowls, are really about removing and cleansing old negative patterns in your life and things that are holding you back, while the Tibetan bowls, again, kind of really ground you and bring you into Earth's energy, and allow you to center yourself. Gong baths are very similar. So if you're ever around these bowls, you now have a whole new understanding of why it's so important to heal every cell in your body, from the connective tissues to the water and the fat cells, and just literally every cell that contains water within you. So honor yourself, give yourself a massage for the soul, and go and find a local place. If you're not local to Jersey, find some place where you can just go and sit and relax. And the beautiful thing is that it does the work for you. So even if you are unable to listen and keep your mind clear, then just breathe, focus on your breath. That's all you have to do, and let the sound work for you. On my YouTube channel, The Indigo Pompion, I have a couple of bowl meditations up there, ranging from 5 minutes up to 30 minutes. So by all means, check them out, and there'll be more coming. Also, I'm going to include a link. I just got an interview for my book, The Spirit Guide Messages According to Your Sign, 2015. It was very exciting. So I'll provide a link there as well. It's with this wonderful woman named Margaret, and it's on her blog, so you'll have a link to her blog as well. Anyway, thank you for joining me, and I do have a message for today, a spirit guide message for you, and that is how we will end. Your light shines brightly, though your heart may be heavy. Speak kind words to yourself, forgive, and move on. Many blessings, and I look forward to seeing you again. If you like the content that you are hearing, please like and subscribe, comment, share, do all of those wonderful things. And I know last week I said I wouldn't be putting these up on YouTube, but they are going to make their way on YouTube. So if you happen to be more of a YouTube fan, you can like and subscribe there as well. Have a great and blessed day.